Welcome to another explosive edition of P&B Sports Show. I'm your host, Abel Sunday. Today, we'll break down the final run in of the season as Manchester City and Arsenal go head-to-head, not directly on the pitch, but through the high-stakes battle of remaining fixtures, I beg your pardon, who has tougher parts. Who blinks first? That's the question we are asking right now. And who has the winning mentality when it matters? Then we shift gear to the hardwood as SmackDown Flyers step into the big stage in their debut campaign in the Basketball Africa League. Can they rise to the occasion and make an early statement? Joining me virtually is the Sport Berlusconi, Tom, and of course he's going to do justice to all what we've put together today. Grab your teacup because P&B Sport start now.
We're bringing you the biggest headlines, match analysis, and expert analysis from the world of sport.
Unbelievable! It's Rodri! Manchester City are on their way!
From football to basketball to athletics, from outdoor sports to indoor sports, we all got you covered. Stay with us as we break down the latest results
And as we dive into the major sports stories making waves globally and locally.
Oh, he's taken it!
Your home of everything sports, only on Politics and Business Television.
Welcome back. It's P&B Sport reaching you live from the nation's capital. And I've been joined by the Sport Berlusconi, Tom. Good morning.
Good morning. The network is quite terrible. Yeah, I hope people can see you.
Yeah, I think we can't see you. I think the network is kind of shaky, but we'll just try to manage it how it is. But Tom, let's dive into the conversation. Of course, it's no longer news that Man City is topping the Premier League table right now. That's the league table that Arsenal has been topping for the past 200 days. You said it yesterday on your analysis. And unfortunately for the Gunners, they fall short of a performance. And this is where they need the whole mentality or performance, what have you. This is the time they need it more. But quite unfortunately, I think Pep Guardiola is playing pranks with Mikel Arteta. But let's dive into the conversation, Tom. City are chasing the actual fixtures. They have 5 fixtures left, right? And can you see, or can you say that City have the quality to seal out this game, despite the fact that they also have a FA Cup semi-finals this Sunday? But do you see City seal out these remaining fixtures?
I see City, playing very, very well. This is a side that nobody again. This is a side that is being coached by one of the best coaches in the world at the moment. And it's very difficult for you to see a Manchester City side topping the table, and then you are going to be expecting an Arsenal side to take them down. Previously, we've seen the Manchester City side that have won most of their matches over the years as Pep Guardiola has been their coach, mostly in April. They do at their peak usually in April, and out of their 31 April fixtures, out of their 39 April fixtures since Pep Guardiola came in, they've won all of them. So it's something that a lot of people expect them, to win. And when you look at it, out of 19 of their fixtures so far, they haven't lost any of them. And it shows you where they are at the moment. At the beginning of the season, this was the side that they were not quite, in tip-top shape, especially in the Champions League, especially when you see a team like Bono Fleet, take on the Manchester City side and win them. But yet, what we are seeing now, it's something that we've seen before. It's something that we've seen over and over again. The only side that was able to break these jinx was the Liverpool side last season. But now we are seeing a side like Manchester City that know what they're doing. This is a side that have their next, fixtures against what you would call not so strong teams. So when you look at it, you do not with the type of shape that they are in right now, you do not expect them, to play less of what they usually play. So we expect them to perform better than they usually perform. We expect them to keep that first place tight, despite the fact that they are living on goal differences. And it's about 1 point on goal differences. So I think that should help them a lot. I think they are going to be performing very, very well. And I think that nobody is going to stop them, including the Arsenal side. And especially with the inconsistencies that Arteta and his men have had so far. So I think that the only way for an Arsenal side to top the Man City side at the moment is for an Arsenal side to just pray that they win all their matches, and to also pray that the Man City side, they lose about two of their matches, and they lose it drastically, which looks quite it doesn't look quite possible at the moment.
Okay, well said, Tom. Can Pep rotate without dropping points? Considering the fixtures, and it's kind of tricky somehow. We have the FA Cup, which Pep also have his eyes on that silverware, because he's going to do a whole lot to his career, winning the FA Cup, and it seems like he's in control of the Premier League right now. No two ways about it, because he's already sitting on top of the table. If the league has to end now like this, of course Pep has won the league. So right now he's sitting. He just have to do everything, win all your games, and make sure you just sit on the table. With the fixtures he's having, do you think rotation of players might make Pep drop points, in your own opinion?
I do not think rotation of players will make Pep drop points. He right now is in the FA Cup, is in the Premier League. These are familiar places. These are places that he knows about. He has good players. He has fit players. Look at Nico Riley. Look at Haaland. He has good players. So he has what it takes, to beat any side that he meets right now. These are not teams that you say are contending for the top spots. Most of the teams that they are playing are teams that are fighting for survival. So when you say Manchester City side, this is a side that they usually, they depend on their core. They depend on the players that they actually have, that they've been using for quite some time. The only time we saw Pep Guardiola do something different was probably when they played the Bayer Leverkusen side, and we saw the result of that and what it actually cost. So we are seeing a different team. We are seeing a team that is better than they were, previously in the season. This is a team that know what they are doing. This is a team that know what they are striving for. This is a team that is being coached by Pep Guardiola, the best right now in the Premier League, if not one of the best in the world when it comes to
of course, arguably, you can say that again, because from the beginning of the season, we wrote Pep off. We even have it. It was even in the conversation of Pep needs to be shown the exit door. But look at how he has turned this Manchester City team around, and many will argue that this is their worst performance so far in the Premier League, and they are about to win it with their worst performance. Well, that's something we will talk again, or that's a topic for another day. But Tom, let's go to this. Which game do you think will be more difficult for Pep Guardiola? Let me read out the remaining fixtures that they have left. They are playing on Sunday against Southampton. That's FA Cup. Then they will go over and play away to Everton, which I think is a very, very difficult one, going to Everton to go and play in their home. Then they will come back home to play against Brentford, which I think is also going to be a difficult. Then Bournemouth, they are playing against Aston Villa, a certain Aston Villa that will want to finish top 4. And I think that also will going to be a very, very difficult game for them too. Then lastly, they will now play against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is also a stubborn side. But from these fixtures, which one do you think might be the banana peel?
A lot of people might not agree, but I'm going to say that it is obviously going to be Southampton and the Aston Villa match. When you are playing the Southampton side, that right now they are hoping that they can win, a silverware this season with the FA Cup. So we are going to be expecting them, to bring out their full guns. The Southampton side they've not been in this position in quite some time, and they want to do that. They have enough time to prepare for the Man City side, despite the fact that they might not be extremely fit at the moment, but they're actually a very, very stubborn side that have shown themselves worthy, and they put their focus on the FA Cup so far. So this is a side that know what they're looking for. This is a side that know what they're gunning for. Then look at the Aston Villa side. And Aston Villa side that, they were third on the table, like early last month. But somehow we saw a Manchester United side come up after beating, Manchester City, Arsenal, and obviously Aston Villa as well, beating the biggest teams, in the EPL, coming up to surpass them. So that says a lot. So the Aston Villa side, they are a side that right now they are putting all their baskets in finishing, top three. What they want is they want to make sure that they're going to finish top three, and they will be praying as well that the Manchester United side come short of 1 or 2 games. And obviously, Aston Villa will not want to draw. They are going to be having some other matches. They want to take hold on those matches, and if they do well with those matches, theirs is the second to last of the season for Man City. And by that time, Man City should know where they stand, but Aston Villa did not know where they stand if they did not take all the matches. You
are very correct, because just like you rightly said, Aston Villa want to finish top 3. They don't want anything, and you consider the fact that Amel has been on top of that table. I think at a point he was in second for a very long time before dropping down to third, then now back to fourth. Anything short of that, Liverpool is also breathing behind Aston Villa, and anything could happen there. So they will not want to drop any point. I think there might just be the spoiler for Man City if Man City is not that careful. But we'll be talking about Man City and Pep Guardiola. Why don't we flip the coin down to the Emirates? Arteta, that has been on top of the table for 200 days, and now when it's very close for him to pick the crown, he's falling short of performances. He has put so much, and he has put so much performances from the beginning of the season down to the last lap, which it matters the most. Yesterday I said something about, I made an illustration about a relay race. You just have to put your best runner at the last lap. But what is Arsenal doing? This has become a pattern, because 2023, I think similar thing happened and they bottled the league. Do you think this might be a repeat of what happened 2023?
When you are looking at an Arsenal side, you are looking at an Arteta that, at the beginning of the season, we said you have one of the most complete teams, yes. But focus on something. Are you focusing on the Champions League? Are you focusing on the Carabao? Are you focusing on the FA Cup? Are you focusing on the English Premier League? But then you have players like Eze, you have players like Odegaard, you have good players. Sometimes you are confused of which player to play. And yes, that is one of the best worries of any coach. But when you look at an Arsenal side, this is a side that have led for 197 days. We've also seen them lead for about, if you match some few seasons recently, they've led for about 536 days altogether. But they always come short. And they always come short either in January or in April. But the season usually looks shaky for them in January rather than in April. But in April, it's a catastrophe altogether. And in my opinion, with Arteta, they've tried, they've tried. But the problem is you are giving Arteta everything he needs. And what he needs to do is he has to find a way to match these players. But when you look at the fixtures that they have moving forward, they've been inconsistent so far. How can you play how many matches and you have not been able to win all your last fixtures? I think that says a lot about the side that they have. A team that have one of the most complete. They have the most complete team, in my opinion, in the world of football. The only thing that is missing probably for them is Wan-Bissaka at the moment. But apart from that, I think Saka at the moment. And apart from that, I think that without Saka, they should be able to pull off something, but they've not been able to do that so far, and it's quite unfortunate for them.
Oh, okay, well said, Tom. But Tom, if you look at the games that are left, I'm talking about for Arsenal now. We have I think they're supposed to play Newcastle at home. They're supposed to play Newcastle at home. Then they will play Atletico Madrid, that's Champions League away. Then also they are going to play Fulham home. They are going to play Atletico Madrid away again, and they are going to play West Ham United home. Burnley home. Burnley is struggling already. Burnley have been relegated, but they are going to play Burnley home. Then lastly, they will now take on Crystal Palace, which I think is also another huge game. So I don't know. In your own opinion, what do you think? Which one would you feel is going to be the the main banana peel for Arsenal?
I think we all know that answer already, and I think that match is going to build us the Champions League first leg and the second leg against the Atletico Madrid side. And Atletico Madrid side have been stubborn. They know what they are looking for. You know, they know how to hit you on the counter as well, and they are going to really come out against an Arsenal side. Because when you look at an Arsenal side in the Champions League so far, we are seeing the side that are used to playing low blocks. You know, just let's see how we can play defense. Even if it's one goal, let's pop in one goal. Let's see how we can go home with the win. If it's a win, Arteta has come out to say he's not here to impress anybody. He's just here to get the win. And that is what we are seeing so far. So I think that they are going to be what's going to stress Arteta so far. And Arteta might need to put in all his eggs into the basket of the Champions League to see how they can get a win, you know. But we might not see that in the first leg, we might see that in the second leg for an Arsenal side. So we just have to wait to see what they might be able to pull off moving forward for the Champions League. But when you look at the EPL, honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think that in the EPL, I think Manchester City have one of the hardest fixtures. They have harder fixtures than Arsenal. But it's the Manchester City side, so it might not be too tough for them. But also on Arsenal side, they have one of the easier fixtures. But with the way they've been playing, the easier fixtures might look a little bit difficult for them.
Okay, well said. As we are talking, Tom, we just have Chris Osage. They just walked into the studio. Chris, and he's a Manchester City fan, and I know he tried as much as possible for him to make today's show. His car broke down on the road when he was trying to come, but he still tried to. He put that he must come and talk about Guardiola. And you know, Chris, on this show, this same table, beginning of this season, we talked about Pep, and I told you that Pep need to be shown the exit door, because after losing 4-5 games, you remember at the beginning of the season, and we're like, no, this is not Pep, and you said, no, with the kind of with his pedigree, you cannot just sack Pep. Of course, why should give it? But I think he has shown that yes, he is Pep. Quickly before we move to the next, let me give you the opportunity so that you just talk in 2 minutes so that we can move to the next topic that we have.
10 years in Manchester City, 7 Premier League. 6 Premier League title, and he is going for the 7th one.
One Champions League title,
with 1 Champions League,
and he has won, I think, several FA Cups. Right?
In 10 years, in 10 years, we must have to give this guy his accolade. We must have to give him his. The last time we were here, I told you that he cannot be shown the exit door. Let us not look at his present condition, because last season was a very woeful season to him, you know, because of so many issues. Teams were still trying to blend, but after the blending of those guys, you can see the performance he has put in this season. So that's why I said you don't just have to show him the exit door because of his past antecedents. In 10 years, this guy has won you 7 league titles. And he's 6 league titles. And this year, there's no doubt about it.
Okay, you are convinced that he's going to win.
Now, I will tell you why I said I'm convinced he's going to win. Now, Arsenal has 5 more games.
Yes.
Man City has 5 more games, right?
Yes.
They've beat Burnley. It was 6 before. Yes, we understand the Burnley game, this, that, but no doubt, thank God it was a 3 points. Now, Arsenal have a very tricky match to play against Newcastle. Do you know Arsenal-Newcastle is a derby match?
Yeah.
And you think that match is just going to, I believe something is going to happen in that match.
And you think you are going to go through. Well, that really, of course, we are running out of time. I know that I didn't come on time. So we have to go for a short break now. Please, when we return, we are going to we'll go to Morocco at Rabat, and we'll talk about Martin Flyers. They've already their first game is tomorrow, and I have Tom Morocco, the sport Berlusconi, and also Chris here. They're going to do justice to that topic quickly. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Sexy Christiania, dame fe ni mi amor. La fiesta VIP, modelo Louis V. So sexy Christiania, dame fe ni mi amor. La fiesta.
Welcome back. You see P&B Sports Show reaching you live from the nation's capital, and I'll be joined by Chris Osagede. It's a honor having you again in the studio.
Yes.
And of course, my one and only sport Berlusconi, and the man that I will tell him. He always tell me that just tell me how to jump. I will jump. If you want to jump very high, he will jump so high, and he has been jumping very high. Anytime I call on him, he will always jump. This sport Berlusconi. I don't know. Should I start with? Okay, let me start with you so that he will wrap up quickly in 2 minutes because we don't have time again. Marktown Flyers. What do you think? They are in Rabat, they are playing tomorrow. What is your expectation?
I'm happy that they signed Michael
Olise.
Yes, I'm so happy because when I saw that, I said, wow, okay. Looking at his past antecedents
with
River, you know. So I believe, yes, him coming in, it's a very good addition to the team, you know, with his experience, his level of experience. I think he has played bad now for like how many seasons?
Yes, he played it two seasons.
2 seasons. So he has the experience. So he knows what he can bring to the table. But my own concern now is how quick, you know, I've been talking about this blending. Yeah. So I just know that Abdurrahman, with his level of experience and with his level of technicality in the game of basketball, he should be able to know how to quickly blend these players together so that tomorrow they can come out with a victory. But I'm so happy that he was able to sign what's his name again? Olise. Yes.
Okay, fine. Let me go to Sport Berlusconi. Tom, quickly as we start to wrap up, let me get your thoughts on the Marktown Flyers that are in Morocco, and then they'll be playing tomorrow, and they are flying the flag of Nigeria. 200 million Nigerians hope it lies on their shoulder. Do they have the balls to fly that flag tomorrow?
I have to agree with Chris. I think yes, they do, because when you are seeing a team like the Marktown Flyers, my worry for them was obviously the backboard, because we were not hearing anything about Crystal Bepa, who led the league at some point in blocks, you know, who has the NBA G League experience as well. But then, as soon as I saw Olisemeka, who I have messaged and I'm expecting a reply from, when I spoke and when I saw him, I said, "Oh, this guy has the experience. He has played for the River Hoopers twice. He has finished. I think he has finished on one of the top, you know, fellows. You know, when you look at the bar, previously in his first season in the bar, and he has the experience. As also with Abba, they both have the bar experience, so they know what it takes to bring the team, you know, up to speed. And then when I looked at their first picture, in my mind I was like, you need to win your first game, you know, to set precedence for the rest of the season. And when I saw the first pictures, I saw the JCA Kings from Cote d'Ivoire, and I realized that, okay, they can actually do something, because they are both debutants, and they have a player like Dumbia, they have other players like Butler.
Okay.
I think that they have what it takes to actually perform well.
Unfortunately, we cannot take more than this anymore, and I know both of us will shift this this topic to tomorrow when we have a large time, 1 hour for Balls on Fire. Thank you very much, Chris, for coming, and the Sport Berlusconi. And that's like we've broken all down from the high stakes title race between Manchester City and Arsenal to the big moment ahead of Marktown Flyers on the continent stage. The Basketball Africa League, the pressure is rising, the margin are getting tighter, and this is where champions are truly defined. Many thanks to my guest Chris Osagede and also the Sport Berlusconi for their insight and analysis. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming down to the studio.
I'm happy I made it.
Thank you so much. And you can follow us on all social media platforms, on YouTube and Facebook at Politics and Business TV.English, on IG at PNBTV_English, on X at PNBTV_ENG. Thanks for watching. I'm Abel Sunday. For me and the entire team in Abuja, say goodbye.